Welcome to That Guy Talks Movies. I'm that guy talking movies. And on this quick episode, I want to discuss the upcoming Gladiator sequel, Gladiator 2. I don't think they have another working title for it. I believe it's just Gladiator Part 2. And this, I say upcoming, but it's coming due out sometime in November of 2024. So the end of 2024. I'm not looking forward to this. And I just want to, that's what this video is really about. Before I even continue and tell you all that, if you're new to the channel, somehow you found me through the algorithm and all the magic of YouTube, and however I did the right hashtags and such, and you found this and you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate that. And for those of you who have continued to subscribe, show me love and everything, I really appreciate you. So let's get into it. Gladiator 2. Why? That's my first question. Why? Why not just leave well enough alone? Gladiator, for me, is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's number 1 or 2, depending on what day you ask me. 7 is my other favorite movie. So between Gladiator and 7, those are the two I will usually name. And with films like this, I feel like don't just leave well enough alone. Don't bother. Like, I don't want to see the follow-up to what happens with David Mills, Brad Pitt's character in 7, and Somerset. Morgan Freeman's character, right? I don't want to see what happens. At the end of 7, David Mills is taken away after, what happens, and the head in the box and all that stuff, and Morgan Freeman's staying on, is going to look after, whatever. We don't know what happens when that car pulls off and the Hemingway quote line comes up and we fade to black, whatever it is, or fade to the David Bowie song remix. Anyway, I'm going too far, but my favorite movie. I wouldn't want to see a follow. If I heard that David Fincher was getting to, they were going to do this again, and Andrew and Kevin Walker was doing the script, and there was some whatever, I'd kind of be angry because I don't want to see you attempt to do that this many years later. The original Gladiator, 23 years ago, perfection. One of my favorite movies of all time. Every aspect of that movie, as far as I'm concerned, is perfect, which is why it makes it into my top movies of all time. A lot of writing issues with that, with the script to begin with. It ended up with 3 screenwriters that were credited, although there were probably originally 5, and there was back and forth, and Russell Crowe was adding dialogue and lines. There was a lot of fighting, and I think Oliver Reed had to add stuff, and Ridley Scott did some, obviously added some lines here. It was just a mess, but it turned out to be absolute perfection. This Gladiator 2, let's get into that. There's no plot, at least not yet. Someone let me know if there's a plot that's been leaked somewhere. All we know at this point is it picks up 20 years later after the death of Maximus, again played by Russell Crowe. Spencer Treat was the boy, so that was Commodus's nephew. Lucilla, played by Connie Nielsen, she's returning in Gladiator 2. And there's a gentleman named Paul Mescal who's going to be playing that boy grown up now. I don't know what the plot is. I don't know what he's going to be doing. I don't know how it works out. There are some returning characters. Like I said, there's Connie Nielsen is coming back. I believe Jaimin Hunsu comes back as Juba. And I think Derek Jacobi is also slated to come back. As far as new casting, Denzel Washington. Bang! Denzel Washington is going to be in this movie? That automatically brought the stock way up for me. Pedro Pascal is going to be in this. Don't know what he's going to be doing, but obviously, another heavyweight, not as heavy as Denzel, but, a heavyweight. And he's going to be in that. Peter Mensah, who a lot of you might know from the Spartacus series way back. I think that was on Starz, really good series, but he's a great actor. Also, he was the messenger in 300 that came and threatened Leonidas and company. But just a great actor, intense voice. He did the voice work on the Transformers series at some point. He's been in a ton of movies, but just a great actor who I feel is underutilized and under-recognized and should have way more props. He's a fantastic actor. But anyway, he's going to be in this. Again, I don't know what he's going to be doing. I'm not sure what the roles are. I'm not sure who's doing what. I don't know why they're doing this. I love Ridley Scott as a director. I think clearly we're going to get epic production and the value of his work in terms of creating those production pieces and these large sets and, how much CGI versus real building of things. And we'll see what happens. I'm just not looking forward to it. I feel I'm more negative about it because, again, I'm not a fan of taking something that's so perfect and exploring it again. Why? What's there to explore? What are we going to see? It was Gladiator. It had a purpose. We saw what happened to this man. We rooted for this man. This was a guy who wanted to basically go home to his wife and his kid. The entire thing. Even when they're slayed, that's where he wants to go. He wants to go back to his wife and kid. That was an epic part of, or an integral part, an essential part of the original script, which wasn't there to begin with. The idea that we don't want to just make a revenge picture about a guy who's killing people to get revenge. We need to make a movie about a guy who is trying to get home to his wife and kid. And that was the heart of the original Gladiator. And we saw it play out. I don't see where this is going to go. So anyway, I wanted to talk about it. As we get more information, perhaps I'll change my mind. As we see a trailer at some point, perhaps I'll change my mind. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Are you looking forward to Gladiator 2? Do you think they should have left it alone? Are you a fan of the original Gladiator? Did you see the original Gladiator? I hope so, because I gave some spoilers in this. If you didn't see the original Gladiator, I don't feel bad for you. So, all right. Anyway, I did a review on Gladiator, I believe, on this channel. Also on 7, which I talked about. So that's on here. That's actually my very first video was a review of 7. If you haven't seen that, check it out if you get a chance. Again, if you like this video, hit that like button. I truly appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And I will see you on the next That Guy Talks Movies.